All right, let's get ready to wrap up on deck right now with me, Charles Prodigy Richey right now. And one of the most interesting last couple segments here, I was like looking at to wrap us up. We're staying on NFL extra points right now, and more particularly right now too. Now, as everyone remembers, last year the last CBA was negotiated back in March of last year, and when you take a look at it right now, I mean, they were able to loosen up some protocols on the fly right now with some of the off-season workouts right now. A lot of people were doing Zoom workouts, I mean, basically sessions. But not only that, too, we did see the preseason taken away for that season. They agreed to skip it. I mean, they were giving a lot of players an opportunities to opt out. And how many people who really felt right now, as far as this year, I mean, this past year, right now as far as like opt outs. And we saw all together last year about 67 players total in the preseason who had the opportunity to opt out. Patriots led the way with 8 players being out, and which I really believe Cam Newton, who could probably have a better season with New England Patriots that year, didn't really get a chance to compete legitimately with the Buffalo Bills. I mean, a lot of people, I mean, you saw some games being rescheduled. We didn't see any forfeits or anything like that, but you did see enough to the point right now. I mean, where teams had to like really like make some hard decisions right now. The NFL got their way with surviving their season, but two, when you also look at it, uh, this year right now, Demorius Smith and the FLPA right now, especially the veterans on that committee right now, and you currently look at the NFL PA. I mean, who are the representatives? I mean, right now, going into it, when you look at the guys right now, I mean, of course, Dormier Smith. I mean, he was a board player representatives. You got JC Treader, who is the president right now. He definitely doesn't think like off-season voluntary workouts should be mandatory. And you got Sam Ackle, who's vice president right now, outside linebacker from Texas, who was selected by the Cardinals back in 2011. You got Lorenzo Alexander of who's drafted out of University of California. Calais Campbell right now, who's another vice president with the Ravens. Malcolm Jenkins right now, and you look at all these guys right now, and they're pretty much like wanting to exercise their rights right now to basically that they want to just do away with this year's off-season voluntary workouts. So far up to this point right now, I mean, when you look at it, I mean, basically the number of teams right now is 15 teams total. And so far, you got the Rams, the Dolphins, Jets, Chargers, Falcons, Steelers, Raiders, Giants, Browns, the Bears, Patriots, Lions, defending Super Bowl champions, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Seahawks, and Broncos has said they are skipping workouts. Although, how many players will actually stay home remains to be seen, according to Mike Florio of Pro Football Talk. At least some of the players on all those teams will likely attend voluntary off-season workouts. And the only problem is, too, and you look at like some of these guys too have like incentives and contracts trying to work out too. I mean, like if you're able to work out, show up, I mean, earn extra money as part of your incentive in your contract. The only concern is too when you look at it is like for rookies more particularly. Listen, I do understand where you're coming from. We're trying to be concerned, like being in a safe environment, including other team facilities. Some feel they could just go ahead and just do workout at their local gyms or at their personal home. and still be ready to go for the season. And the only thing is where I get a little concerned with that, you need to make sure that you're communicating with your organization how your workouts are going. And the problem is, too, you're trying to invoke new game plans and styles to compete. I think the NFL last year, I mean, everybody had skipped preseason. I mean, how are they getting themselves in shape? They're doing reps, hitting the weights, getting their bodies ready, and ramping up. The only thing is where I do agree with a guy like Chris Sims is that rookies who are coming into this should not be stepping back. They should be trying to get used to the environment of the pro level. That experience at the end of the day is still valuable. You do not want to come in unprepared. You're trying to earn spots to compete. And the thing is, too, no matter how much NFL says they're trying to watch out for player safety, which I do think they try, but not really. But it's going to still be a business. They're going to still find ways to save if they can. Ways they could get out of like not owing someone like millions of dollars. If they could release player and save like a few million, they're going to do it. And the thing is, too, I mean, the only thing is, too, I mean, this is more coming from the veteran side of the players' union. And how much will we see players follow suit with that? I mean, I don't mind it either way. I mean, I think I'm not really ripping into these guys, but at some point, if you're not going to be putting a satisfied product on the field, and guys who are looking to get to next levels and try and grow and learn, how are you going to work out? I mean, how are you going to get yourself ready? You're going to YouTube NFL workout routines? I mean, is that what we're getting at? Or we're going to go over to our friend's house, work out, play some backyard football? Or are we going to learn from Madden? I mean, like video games, how to get ready? I think it's ridiculous. I think if anything, right now, you don't want to let it get out of control to a point where you're not just make sure you're having proper safety protocols, but you're not properly having your teams ready or players ready. Because right now, even too, I mean, you look at Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean, with Bruce Arians right now, Byron Leftwich. I mean, too. I mean, when you look at it, I mean, from those guys, Todd Bowles, defensive coordinator. I mean, who's trying to repeat as champions? Do you think they're gonna want to ruin their opportunity right now to like not be in better position to win another Super Bowl? Heck no. A guy like Tom Brady is still the ultimate reminder right now who always cares about team and is willing to take less money to make the proper moves. I mean, for his team to be in possessed position to win. Period. I mean, personally, I'm for it. But at the same time, too, I'm not gonna lie. If it's my Steelers or our very own Chicago Bears, just teams, you skip these workouts. Don't be mad if you're gonna have a losing season. Nothing to show for it, for a deep playoff run or a championship. Period. So I want to hear what you guys think. You guys, once again, you guys can follow me on social media on Twitter and Instagram at Prodigy Richey. You can follow me on the Mouse Steel Podcast on Twitter at Mouse Steel CGR and then Instagram at Mouse Steel Nation. So here's one thought I want to close out with the weekend. It was before last Sunday, and I was mentioning this earlier in the show. Brett Favre does not like politics in the game of football. And he's even made references to how Colin Kaepernick, him not wanting to stand for the national anthem, him encouraging a lot of players to take knees. And at the end of that season, he never got a job since in the NFL, but he always cared about Black Lives Matters. Very great for him, but he tends to think it's disappointed that's gotten to that point. He feels like it's divided up of a lot of people in this country and fans. Listen, Brett Favre is not wrong on that. He's not saying anything that's not true, but I will say this, Mr. Favre. I'm with you where I want to watch sports to get my mind off things and escape the reality of what's going on, out in society or disturbing news. But at the same time, we also got to realize this message. Sports, it's more than just a game. We got to remember. It is still about bringing people together. And if anything, I like Russell Wilson's speech a lot better when he got the Walter Payton Man of the Year award was at this. We need to fill our hearts with more love in this country more than anything. And to be honest with you, I don't think Brett Favre should have to pay any consequences or he loses a lot of trust in the public eye. I mean, there's a lot of people who's been frustrated with this. But at the same time, when we look at what happened on the nation's capital, people trying to stop the votes from being counted for Biden to win and for Trump be reelected, no offense, he already kind of got like a broad brush painted right now with where we're at. And to be honest, it's you see how divided we are. I just think if anything, we can't ignore what's happening out there. Definitely needs to bear awareness. But this is why I will encourage people. Listen, this whole thing about cancel culture. I mean, when we look at like everything in our time of social media, say one thing wrong and we don't regret what we say, is that now we're going to do everything we can to get rid of you or just ignore you altogether. It's like, you know what? You became enemy number one by your comments, which is totally ridiculous. I think if anything, I think remorse is still out there. Or, I mean, like, if you do, show some regret. I mean, even though you cannot take back what you say, people will encourage you to change. People will welcome you back. I mean, look at it like with Kevin Durant and Michael Rappaport, comedian, for example. I mean, you had a guy who like was basically commenting on Kevin Durant, not participating in media or whatever on opening night of the NBA season. And he does like his own show where he does like sharing private messages, private DMs, where he wants to like play like this one game or how dare you or whatever. Well, Kevin Durant was in a chat room with him, and basically there was, he finally took issue with Rapport what he said, and basically said, "If I see you, I'm gonna spit on you." But not only that, there was also another person in the chat rooms we learned from Michael Rappaport who's also threatening the guy's wife. Listen, Michael Rappaport, in my opinion, he's a shit star. Great talent. But at the end of the day, too, I mean, I know that's part of success, what's made you on your shows, but you gotta understand something. You're sharing messages, you're breaching people's privacy at the end of the day. And for Kevin Durant, I mean, to not regret what he said, okay, whatever. But when you're an athlete, especially too, do we hold a lot more higher standards for athletes? Yes, or the public eye. But at the same time, too, I can also see it too, where it's like people are going to have pushback and feelings. You can't make someone feel this way just put on a right face. I mean, spitting, I mean, as we know on people, is one of the most disgusting things. But at the same time, too, I can also understand a guy, and I don't feel sorry for Rappaport too much. I do feel sorry for the fact that his wife had to be dragged into this, and she's mad at him for getting involved in this. But man, I mean, how do you not expect that to blow out of proportion? So Brett Favre, listen, I pray for you, my man, and I continue to pray for all the people, Black lives right now. Police reform, we're all talking about. But at the same time, too, I will say this. We cannot be ignoring people who wear a badge or security. We still have to wisen up and listen. And police, on the other hand, force, what they're doing to people to get people to stop, obviously needs a lot more improving. And I'm just going to leave it at that. But anyway, once again, thank you for all those joining me here on Deck on this nightly 1 hour special. You guys can follow me again on social media, Twitter and Instagram, at Prodigy Richey, Steel Podcast, on Twitter at CGR, and on Instagram, Steel Nation. So I'll leave you. Don't be trolling, be rolling. I gone.
He's got it! That's a winner!